Everyone, Mr. Morgan Lewis here again. Today we're going to work on the muscles in our hips and on the inside of our legs to, number one, help with strengthening our kicks, improving our flexibility, and also helping to protect the vital tendons and joints in those areas, especially the more you practice over time. So we're going to run through some exercises for the inner thigh and for the hips. We'll start with the inside of the legs. Here we go. Okay, so to start us off, we're going to go into exercises for the inner thigh muscles, and what we're trying to aim for here is improving the strength and support of the muscles and tendons, and also encourage more flexibility. Now, when you practice doing your turning kicks and side kicks and so on and so forth, we spend a lot of time pivoting, trying to raise the leg to the height, pushing it out, whatever kick it is. So we do tend to use these muscles in that way, but it's more for physical performance. It's not necessarily all the time focusing on strength. Okay, so what we're doing is we're focusing on trying to build these muscles up, so allowing the legs to lift up a bit smoother, a bit easier, but also it will endeavor to increase your ability to pivot and chamber and lift parallel at the same time. So for those that don't consider themselves very flexible, this is very ideal for you. Okay, so we're going to start off with abductor flies. Now, with abductor flies, I recommend that you try to do 4 sets of 25 repetitions with 20 seconds rest between each set. If you feel a bit more adventurous, then you can try and do 2 sets of 50 and then have a, say, 40 second rest in between the 2 sets. Or if you're really got some energy on you, then try and do 100 in one go. Either way, you're aiming for 100 repetitions because you need to really activate the muscles, and the technique, the way you do them, is really important as well. So watch carefully. You start in this position here. Legs are up, nice and straight. Hips, back, shoulders and elbows are square on the floor, so there's no backsides lifting up, there's no lower bodies curving, there's nothing like that. So from here, we're going to keep our legs nice and straight, toes pulled back, feet are flat, and what you do is you let your legs open as wide as they can go. Now what you want to think about is the weight of your legs pulling themselves to the floor. Because remember, your legs are, particularly your upper leg muscles, are one of the some of the biggest muscles in your body, and therefore they're going to have much more weight behind them. So you just open and close like this. You go as wide as you can. No jerking movements, no sudden drops. It's just nice and controlled. Okay, now you'll start off and you'll feel it, but after a while it will start to really fatigue. Now, if you're struggling to keep your legs straight, then if they're like that, that's absolutely fine, but you mustn't let your legs drop forward like this. Otherwise, it now goes into our lower abs, which is still a good exercise, but we're not working abs today, okay? So try to keep, the golden rule is try to keep your toes or your heels pointing to the ceiling, okay? And you do that for, as I said, 4 sets of 25, 2 sets of 50, 1 set of 100, whichever, but it has to be 100 for you to feel the maximum benefit of this. Now, you can use ankle weights for that one. However, if you're going to do that, then I probably recommend maybe not 4 sets of 25, but maybe to start with, maybe you could do 4 sets of 15, just see how you feel. 100 with ankle weights is quite a push, and I can tell you that from experience. And so it's quite strenuous. Now, another exercise you can do for the inner thighs is squats, but what you do is you do them a little bit wider. And first off, I'll show you that you can just hold the stretch position. So what you do is you start off with your legs reasonably wide, and you want to aim to be 90 degrees parallel to the floor. Okay, so we don't want to drop too low. We want to be knees and belt, or knees and waist in line. And what you do is put your hands together, elbows on the inside of your legs. Now the key here is to hold this position. Try and keep your back straight as well. And what you do is you use your elbows to push your legs apart. Now you mustn't drop whilst you're doing this because you won't feel it as the same. You need to keep that height. Push apart. Hold that for about 10 seconds. And what you do is you move your feet a bit wider. And then you push again. And it does get quite tricky. You then hold for another 10 seconds. Push out a bit further. And do that as many times as needed. Okay? And then of course from there we have squats as standard. So from here the legs are apart, but a bit wider than what we're used to. Okay, we still try to go parallel to the ground, but instead of feeling it in the quads, you will now feel it here, up and down. Don't expect to get very low on this one, but you will feel it substantially. Okay, so there's a few ideas for you there to help with improving that flexibility and strengthening the inner thighs. And this time, we're now going to go on to working the glutes, or the outside on the hips. Okay, for the second part, you need to get into this position. Okay, from here, we're going to work the glutes and the hip muscles, which again contribute to helping you with your flexibility, but also with the strength of your spinning kicks and side kicks. Basically, most rotational kicks feel the benefit from this. Okay, so you can do this with ankle weights. Again, you might need to do that if you need a bit of help. Okay, but in general, what you're going to do is have your legs nice and straight. Now, it's important that you're not curving here. You've got your shoulder and your hip and your ankle in line, and you're on your elbow, and that's going to help to give a bit of contraction here. Okay, so what you do is you lift. This is the routine I want you to do. You lift your leg, okay, your top leg, and you've got to lift it until the point where it feels like something's trying to push it down. Now, if you lift it too high, you lose the tension. If you have it down here, there's no tension at all. So you need to be kind of midway. So 45 degrees from where you're laying is probably about right. And then you're going to hold it in that position. Now, trust me, if you did this with ankle weights, you're going to feel it. But we're just going to do it like this for now. Now, from here, you're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. Okay, again, if you're holding it for 30 and you feel like it's not enough, then continue to hold it. It's just a rough idea. Okay, so you hold that for that length of time, and then what you do is you make circles with your entire leg, not just your foot, your entire leg, about the size of a football. So it doesn't matter what way you go, but you circle like this. So now this is going to help the muscles involved with the rotation of the hip joint. Okay, it's all endurance on this one. Now that will start to bite after a while. Okay, you do that for 30 seconds, or again your chosen length of time, and then what you do is you hold it again. Now that's really going to be starting to burn now, so you have to really persevere and hold it there. But what I want you to do is try and raise it a little bit higher. Now if you're struggling to do that, get a partner to help you lift your leg up for you, and then take the hands away, and then you rely on it yourself. All right, so you hold that there. Now the next one, we're going to tuck the leg in to a nice tight chamber. But what I want you to do with this hand is open it up. So what you're going to try and do is send your knee to your palm. Doesn't matter if it doesn't get there, but that's the idea. Okay, so you pull the knee in as tight to the hand as you can. And then what you do is you go to the same height again and thrust it out like a side kick. Now with the side kick, toes pointing, using the blade, okay? So it's here and here, here and here. And again, you do that as many times as you can for, say, 30 seconds. Again, it all depends on what you feel you're able to do. Okay, and then you're going to hold it out for one last time, okay? The last one should be held to maximum time, okay? And then once you've done it, you drop it down and then flip over and do the other side, okay? So that feels more muscular fatigue on that one, okay? And it really helps with building up the strength in the hip and glute muscles for your kicking and your flexibility. Now, there are other exercises that contribute. I mean, squats do their part to some degree, but you're not ultimately targeting the glutes. What you can do is you can do some stretches as well. Some stretches for the glutes, okay, which you would have seen in a previous video, include stretches like this one, or even this one. But it's up to you. You should stretch either way after each of the exercises you do. So let us know how you get on with that. I wouldn't say do these routines every day, because you need to give your muscles a chance to rest. I'd say 3 times a week max. And again, if you are going to use ankle weights, take extra care not to let the weight force your legs down. You control it all the time, all right? And then when you're doing it with the ones we just did as well, again, control it. You need to be in control. Don't let it start pulling the weight down for you. Okay, so good luck with those exercises. They're good for you. They are painful, but it's a good pain. All right, not quite happy pain, but that's a little bit different. All right, so yeah, hopefully you enjoy. Let us know how you get on, and look out for more flexibility related videos in the coming days or so. Take care of yourselves.